is that Volume 1 really, really goes hard at establishing a backstory for King Zarkon. Imagine trying to be more Voltron than Voltron himself, right? And while I can definitely see some people having an issue with Zarkon's backstory because it does deal with a couple of cliches, but I feel like it was executed well enough that I was like, you know what? I can see where you're going with this. Or at least what you're attempting to do, and I appreciate it on that level. Basically, just to sum it up without getting into too many details, but again, this is the spoiler section, so you've been warned. Essentially, the plot twist is that Zarkon is actually an Earthling. Yeah. And basically, through a lot of years of torment and torture, and being betrayed by an emissary of Eris, he rose up to power as the king of the Droll Empire and became their sworn enemy. So,
well, what I'm getting from this is that I despise people.
kinda.
I kinda get this.
Well, yeah. And in response, his ex-best friend, who was a mighty mage of planet Eris, he actually fused himself to Voltron in order to power it up and also preserve his own life in an attempt to stop Zarkon. It doesn't go too well. So, yeah, that's the super summed up part. But for what they delve into, I thought it was actually done pretty okay. Like, honestly, Zarkon and Alec, who is the mage, they basically are the main characters of Volume 1, and their story's done pretty well, I feel. But yeah, and then but then things get definitely like super off the rails by the end, because then Sven shows up and he kind of shoots the ever-loving shit out of Zarkon, and then things definitely go haywire from there. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Volume...
Sven, the greatest YouTube pooper.
Oh yeah, the exact same guy.
Good guy.
I know, right? Good stuff. So, but yeah, meanwhile then, Volume 2, more kind of has to do with sort of like the real-world politics of if the Space Explorers actually like existed in any sort of realistic setting, which not as interesting.
Well, nobody likes listening to politics for ages.
Yeah, like, granted, again, I get what the writer was trying to do here, and I understand, but it's definitely not nearly as interesting as the very character tale of...
But guys, don't you want to hear about the same exact Isekai Adventurers Guild for the 50th time?
No.
Nobody does, but they do it anyway.
Yeah. Also, Volume 2 has a moment in it that's like really fucking creepy, and I really don't ever want to think about it ever again. But so for those who don't know, I need to look up when exactly this comic was written, because it might not be the writer's fault in this regard. But anyway, so for those who don't know, there's King Zarkon, there's his son Prince Lotor, and then there is his mother, as in Zarkon's mother, who is the witch Hagar, right? I don't know if you guys remember me noting this in my rant on Legendary Defender, but one thing I definitely did not like is them changing Hagar to be Zarkon's wife, because in a meta sense that means Zarkon fucks his mother, and that's like fucking gross, Jesus Christ.
I don't know, I mean, Patroclus is over there kinda making it okay.
God. But, you know, somehow this comic managed to do even worse than that.
Excuse me?
Like, oh...
Okay, now you're upsetting me.
I'll just go ahead and tell you. Okay, so basically, again, very much has to do with royalty politics and space shit.
Oh, yeah, I heard royalty, and I know where this is going. Middle Ages.
So, Lotor now has control of the Droll Empire. He is trying to be all like, now that my father is dead, I stand for good. I wish to make peace with Earth. and
That ain't gonna happen.
and as you would expect, everybody's like, yeah, you've murdered how many of us? How about you fuck off, right?
Yeah, but
So-
that was under his orders. You're just against peace.
Yeah, that's basically the angle Lotor tries to swing.
And he's technically right.
And we then at one point get this scene that he's talking with Hagar, who has assumed a form of a secretary lady to try and look more official for business, right, and negotiation.
I heard Hagar, and I thought Hagar.
Yeah, and they're having this conversation, and Lotor's like, I just need to hear it from Allura's words, please. Morph into Allura and have her tell me that what I'm doing is okay, because Lotor still very much has his very